Hey guys, this is Gabby with Glopez Creations, and I'm here to show you how I make my acrylic shakers. I love using acrylic shakers for birthday toppers, keychains, phone grips. I also can use them for shaker wands. I have a lot of these examples on my Etsy page, which is glopezcreations.com. You can check those out. I do have a few files ready to use, so if you don't want to make your own, they are there. I have another video showing how I make my charms for those shakers. I will go over it quickly on this one on how I make because it's going to be pretty much essentially the same thing as making my sublimation backers. So we're going to start with a simple circle. Actually, first, let me go back up. I am using Silhouette Studio Business Edition. The reason I use the Business Edition is because it allows me to save my file as an SVG to import into Lightburn Studios. Actually, I don't know if it's Lightburn Studios, but it's Lightburn, in order to use it with my laser. Pretty simple. Now, I only use Silhouette Studio, so I am unable to help with any other program. So hopefully this is easy enough to understand. So we'll start with a simple circle backer. Let's say this is the size that I want. That is the back piece. You can use 1/16 inch acrylic. You can use 1/4 inch acrylic if you want it to be thick. I use 1/8 inch because that's what I have on hand. I mostly use acrylic. I don't have any 1/16 on hand yet. I just haven't gotten around to it. But that's what I use. I would use 1/8 on the back. I also have 1/8 inch of sublimation acrylic, so that's what I mostly use for my shakers. Now, the next part, you're going to make the spacer piece. This is to ensure that your little charms can move around. So if you use 1/4 inch spacer, you're going to want to use something smaller for your charms. So if I use 1/4 inch for my spacer, I'm going to use 1/16 or 1/8 inch acrylic for my little charms. If I use 1/8 inch for my spacer, I can use 1/16 for my charms. But I don't have 1/16, so I use 1/4 inch for my spacer and 1/8 for my charms. So I'm going to do a quick internal offset. I like to use between 0.2 and 0.25. And then I'm just going to make that a compound path in order for it to know that this goes together. Now, this is where it gets easy. We'll just copy and paste. I use Flex for my piece, my clear piece that's going to keep my charms in. You can also use 1/4 inch, 1/16 or 1/8 inch acrylic as your clear piece on top. I would recommend that if you are going to engrave on this piece. I have a charm that is, or I have a shaker wand that is a seashell, and so I have it where it engraves on the acrylic, and then you can use that as a detailed top piece. But I like to use Flex when I don't have those details. It's pretty flexible, it's clear, it's easy to use, and it's cheap. So, and then last we have the border. This border goes on top of everything to hide any glue or adhesive that you use. If you don't mind that, you don't have to use the border piece. It's just there for convenience. Now, let's say I want to make a sublimated backer piece in order to make a themed acrylic shaker. Again, pretty easy. I'm going to offset this cow. I don't like to do 0.2 for that one. I'm probably do about I believe it's 0.05. Something not too thick. Let me zoom in here. And that's what I use. Okay. And so now I'm going to copy and paste that. Bring it down below. We're going to go ahead and make that internal offset. Again, back to that 0.2. And then again, compound path. And I'm going to take that and that. Well, not that cow. Let's take the outside piece. And we're going to make that our clear topper and then our border. We can make the border whatever color we want. It's pretty simple for the shaker. Now, if I want to make this a keychain, I'm going to do I like to do a 1.9 for the inner circle, and then I'm going to offset it 0.125 inches. And when I make a keychain for my shakers, I like to base the keychain off of the 1/4 inch spacer, because it is thicker. It will hopefully hold better if there's any rough, use of the keychain. And then I'll just do that. So, well, let me copy and paste this for my other keychain. And what I'll do is I'll just put that spacer layer and the outer circle, and I'm going to weld them together. There we go. Go ahead and compound path that so I don't lose my circle, and that's my keychain. Now, when you do the keychains, if you're doing a spacer, just be aware that you want to make sure it doesn't overlap in any of these pieces, because then you're going to be covering up the circle. So there's that. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the circle with the spacer piece. Again, making sure I don't cover up this inner circle. And we're going to weld it again. There we go. I do like to adjust these so that it's this point right here isn't too thin, and I don't end up breaking it. It's just the tiniest little bit of a change. Oop. But just something easy. I might adjust that other side, but again, this is just a quick tutorial, so it doesn't matter to me right now. I usually make sublimated sheets like this. Now let's say I want to make my charms. Now my charms, let's just grab a couple here. I want to make sure that they are going to fit in here. So my charms are pretty small. I like to keep them at the biggest size, around 0.5 to 0.7. Again, just depending on what the item is. So here we go. That's 0.5. This one's 0.4. And I might just guess on how many I want to fit in here. It's just simple and easy. And I already have a video on how I cut and print these. I don't do print and cut. I cut first and then I sublimate the shapes on. Feel free to leave any questions down below, or check out my Etsy, glopezcreations.com, for more shaker files. Thanks for watching.